Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another Poet Sports Report here on the Whittier College Sports Network. I'm Lance Franey, joined by Thomas Harrison, and we have a great show for you here today. Talking about winter sports, talking a little bit about some spring sports that are going to be starting here on February 1st, so we have a lot to look forward to. But first things first, men's basketball. Great season so far. They're 8-5 right now during this early part of their season. And they are coming off a tough loss last night to Claremont Mudd Scripps by 33 points. It got to be as bad as 43, but they ended up coming back a little bit. But Claremont just manhandled the Poets last night. It was all Stags last night. But again, Poets are still sitting in 4th place in the SCIAC standings. Chapman's the favorite. They're undefeated on the season. Claremont's 2, 3's Cal Lutheran, and then there's us. And then after that, there's Occidental, Redlands, Pomona, and Caltech. So, we're right in the middle of the pack. Top 4 make the SCIAC postseason tournament. So we're doing okay. But what have you liked so far from the men's squad this year?
Well, I like the outside shooting. It's almost like an outside-in team instead of the inside-out game. Zone defense is implemented a lot. They really need to work on their man-to-man defense. It's been an issue for Rock Carter's team. Maybe play with a little bit more of a faster pace. I like Ben Maynard for 3. I think he's doing great. Nick DeMusis also, he's a high-energy guy, and they really thrive off emotion. So it's really important for them to get involved early and to really impose their will, if you will. And so I've liked what I've seen. I do think they make the SCIAC. I do think they're one of the 4 best teams in the SCIAC division. However, I want to see more from the defensive side of things for the Poets.
One of the big things, too, is what's been the big disadvantage has been that size inside. Their biggest guy on the floor is Ben Maynard. And he's a twig. He's tall, but he's a twig. So trying to bang inside those big guys, that's been an issue. But the Poets make it work with their speed. They make it work with their shooting as well. So we're hoping for some big things moving down. They got Pomona Pitzer this Saturday. They have Cal Lutheran next week. So these 2 games are going to be huge for the Purple and Gold moving forward. So now it's shifting over to women's basketball, where they're the opposite of the men, but they have been doing quite well. 4-6 on the season in conference play. They have losses against Laverne and Chapman, but they do have a close win against Caltech, so they're 1-2 in conference play right now, and they're sitting right there in the middle of the pack. It's anyone's game early in the conference season, but right now they have Pomona Pitzer coming up, and that's a must-win game for them. Redlands is at the bottom as well, and they're playing good basketball, but it's a winnable game for the women's basketball squad for the whole season. It's anybody's game, and anybody can beat anybody any given day. But what have you seen with their squad?
Well, it's almost like a mirror image of the men's squad. They have great perimeter shooting. It starts with Navarra Salutu. She's been in the system for a long time now. She's a seasoned vet, a senior. The outside shooting is really great. They play with a lot of depth. They play with a lot of speed. I want to see more from the defensive side of things. They have trouble shutting teams down, but offensively, they play with a fast pace. Kind of mirrors Rock Carter's team, and I think they're the middle of the road, kind of on the edge of the playoffs. I do think they get over the hump, but I like what I see offensively. They just got to focus more on the defensive side of things.
Yeah, definitely. Turning the ball over has been something that's plagued them all season. The last couple of games, they've turned the ball over almost 30 times in a game, maybe even more than that. They have the bigs inside with Krishana Lethbridge. They have Anna Youngblood, the 2 tall, over 6 feet tall girls that have come in from Washington, D.C., Berkeley, California. So they have the height, they have the talent on that squad, but they just haven't found it yet. And all I can say is, once they do, the SCIAC teams better watch out, because they're definitely going to be a team that can come in and really stun somebody any given day. So a lot to look forward to there. And again, they have Pomona Pitzer this coming Saturday here at home. And then next week, they have Cal Lutheran here at home on Wednesday night, 7:30. That's a huge game as well. Those are 2 winnable games for them that they need to win to get back into the top 4 in the SCIAC standings. Now going over into swim and dive, 1-1 for both the men's and women's teams. They lost tight 1 to Pomona Pitzer for both teams, but they bounced back to beat Chapman this past Saturday after a 3-week layoff, and they won in convincing fashion. It was a great meet for both the men and the women. The men are expected to finish top 4. They're looking there to compete with them. The women, they're going to have a few struggles, but they definitely have some very talented individuals there. And I know we've only had a couple swim meets here this year. The divers have been doing a great job for the swim and dive team as well. But, we also have Filip Djokovic as well, who his big event is a 50 free. And he's made nationals the past 2 years in the 50 free, made the B cut to make it. And they're looking forward to him to make his way back to nationals. So we'll see what he can do later on in this year. But this coming weekend, they have a tri-meet as they take on Cal Lutheran and Redlands, I believe. And that's going to be a tri-meet here at the Lillian State Aquatic Center. 11 o'clock is going to start. 10 a.m. is going to start the diving. So again, that's a tri-meet here at home this coming Saturday. It's going to be the senior day, actually. So we're already getting to the senior day for swim and dive. All their other meets are going to be on the road. So, a lot to look forward to there with the swim program. And now we're going to get started here with the spring sports here in 2015. A lot to look forward to. We have a lot of teams that play in the spring. We have men's lacrosse, women's water polo, men's and women's track and field, baseball, softball, men's and women's tennis, women's water polo, men's and women's golf. We have a lot going on here in the spring. So I definitely know I'm going to be stressed in sports information, but we're definitely going to try and get you as much coverage as possible here in the spring. But first things first, spring sports start on February 1st. Baseball has an alumni game on January 31st coming up this month. But the baseball team, coming off an 11-game winning streak last year, made the SCY postseason tournament a year ago for the first time in school's history for baseball. So that's a huge feat for head coach Mike Rizzo. And he's 16 wins away from reaching his 300th victory this year. So a lot to look forward to. I know you did a lot of their games last year, Thomas, but what have you liked from their team, and who have they brought back for this season?
Well, they got a lot of veteran leadership. You mentioned a lot of bodies coming back, and they've recruited well, especially with the arms. College baseball is a small ball game, a lot of bunts, a lot of hit and runs, and good pitching really plays into that. I want to see how they do without Julian Barzilli. As you mentioned, or on the past shows, he was drafted by the St. Louis Cardinals, so best of luck to him. But a lot of guys need to step up. I look for good things. As you mentioned, the 11-game winning streak, very impressive, and I look for them to continue that success going into next season.
Yeah. And then you're talking about, we have Steven Zavala behind the plate. He's looking to be drafted by a lot of NFL or Major League Baseball scouts this year. We also have Ben Cerami, closer, left fielder for the Poets, a big hitter for the Purple and Gold. We have Max Bradshaw back, the big third baseman. He's going to be filling in for Julian Barzilli this year. And then Mike Rizzo's also talked about bringing in a couple of young arms, big guys, about 6'3", 6'4" in height. And they're going to be big studs that can come in and start right away for the Poets. So a lot to look forward to. I'm really excited about the season. They had Graham Penn returning at their leadoff batter, starting at second base, and they have a lot of new guys. Dimitri Washington coming in, who's also a swimmer, and he's coming in. He's an infield position player, utility player, and he's really fast. So they're looking forward to mix things up. They might be trying the same route where they put a leadoff batter at the 9 hole, and then they have a leadoff batter at the 1. Tony La Russa used to do that for the Cardinals, and Mike Rizzo used to do that in past years as well. So we'll see if he's going to end up doing that, or putting Steven Zavala at number 1 to get him more ABs in a game. So lots to look forward to there with Mike Rizzo. Great coach, been around the league for a long time, and he knows what he's doing, and we're looking forward to a spectacular year with them. Now moving over into softball, Dee Dee Kingsbury, first-year head coach for the Purple and Gold, came over from Cal State Fullerton, and what a resume we have with her. Won 2 national championships at UCLA as a pitcher, played on the USA Olympic or the Olympic team, played professional softball. She has an assistant, Corinna Randazzo, that played at Cal State Northridge, was her assistant at Cal State Fullerton, and the women's softball team, they won 26 games last year, and they have a lot of the returners coming back. They lost Courtney Delano, their ace pitcher, but, what have you seen with them? I know we haven't done as many games last year with them broadcasting, but, you know a little bit about that program, but what do you see with them moving forward?
Well, they have a lot of people coming back. You mentioned the star pitcher, but you're going to lose people each and every year, so not a huge hit. And what can you say about Dee Dee Kingsbury? The pedigree is there. She's been responsible for championship teams. She's been around great programs, as you mentioned, Northridge and especially Fullerton. So I look for big things out of them. As you mentioned, coming off a 26-win season, I don't see that getting any worse. I see it getting better. I see a lot of talent on that squad, and I think good things ahead for both men's and women's sports on the diamond.
Yeah, softball. They have Mercedes Cundiff returning, starting at third base. They have Alex Flores leading off, starting at second base. Sam Milano, captain, starting at catcher. They have Samantha Bloom, their ace freshman pitcher from last year. She's returning. She'll be their starter. You have Emi Shimamoto in the outfield starting. You have Elise Gutierrez, big bat. She'll be playing in the outfield as well. You know, you have a lot of returners returning for the Poets, and, you know, I'm really excited. They start February 1st, actually on Super Bowl weekend. They play Whitworth, 10 o'clock, 12 o'clock, right before Super Bowl the game starts. And we're looking forward to that first game of the season. They're getting a whole new scoreboard up at the field, so when the season starts off, make sure you guys come up to the Palmer softball field and check out that new scoreboard. So really excited for things going on like we talked about on the diamond for both the men and the women. Now shifting gears, we're going to head over to the tennis court. You know, that's my area of expertise since I'm the assistant coach here for men's and women's tennis. Men's team, we only have 8 players on the team right now. You play with 6. We lost David Konstantinov, our #1 player who turned pro, and he won't be returning, so that's a big blow for our squad since he was our #1 singles player. But we do have 8 guys on the team, so we're really watching to make sure our guys aren't getting injured, that they're staying healthy. We have new guys that have come in. David Stanko, who's a transfer from Riverside Community College, played at UC Riverside. And then we also have a new player, freshman Ian Ross, that has come in, and we're looking for them to make immediate impacts with the program. The men come in nationally ranked in the top 25 already, and we're looking hopefully to get lower, but we'll see what happens. You know, we have a young squad, and we'll see what we can do. Led by Sam Farmer, All-Sky performer from a year ago, so we'll see what can happen on that side. On the women's side, Jada Henry, you know, lefty, southpaw from Oceanside, California, comes in, top recruit coming in for us. But again, we have Megan Zamilfa returning for women's tennis. Made nationals as a freshman, should have made nationals last year. She's probably the top player in the conference, and she's on our squad playing #1. She's only a junior. And then we also have Gabby Etchegary, a sophomore, returning at #2. You know, we graduated a couple girls, Adrian Hamada, Liliana Cirillo, but we also brought Jada Henry in. We brought in a couple other girls, so we're looking to make an impact here on women's tennis side. They're nationally ranked 38 in the country right now. We're hoping to drop that down to get within the top 30, hopefully midway through the season, hopefully at the beginning of the season, and really make an impact. So that's going to start here right at the beginning of February when we start playing matches. January 31st, women play UC Riverside away on the road. So we're looking for big things from both squads there. Women's water polo ended up finishing 3rd in the conference standings last year. Very strong team. What do you like with that squad and Justin Puebla as that coach?
Well, it seems like this year is the year for Whittier Poets aquatic sports. You mentioned the men's water polo team, of course, got the SCIAC, strong swimming seasons. And you mentioned the women's team, top 3 finished last year. I look for them to perform even better this year. I haven't really scoped out the competition in the SCIAC though, but I know there's a lot of talent on that squad and a lot of fast swimmers there, so I look for big things ahead there. And how about your analysis about the aquatic sports?
Yeah, I mean, aquatics has really been a big thing, especially for Justin Puebla as the head coach, the director of aquatics. He's done a tremendous job with the swim and dive team, the men's water polo team, of course, winning back-to-back SCIAC championships. Women's water polo, they have the ability to win a SCIAC championship. They have the talent. They lost a couple girls already here early in the season, but you know, hopefully they'll be able to bounce back. They have a lot of great transfers coming in, and they have a lot of great talent on that squad. They've been practicing, and I've been watching them a little bit here and there, but they are very good, and I feel that they are a top 2 team in the SCIAC conference. So a lot of big things with them that we're looking forward to. So a lot to look forward to in the pool this year with women's water polo. Very exciting with Justin Puebla once again at the helm of that program. We want to thank you for tuning in to our Poet Sports Report this morning here on the Whittier College Sports Network. I'm Lance Frenning, joined by Thomas Harrison. Please tune in next time as we talk more about the spring sports and wrap up what's been going on with the winter sports. Thank you for tuning in.